but I'll question you. One of the things we've faced in the last few years, because it's been non-stop, is disillusionment and keeping our energy up to keep going. When a lot of our things fail or they just ignore us or there's like the infighting, how have you managed to keep going and not just give in? Because I honestly believe the disillusionment is a tactic for them to make us quit. So how have you managed to keep going?
Now, that's an interesting question, considering you asked me before, how had I changed?
Yeah.
I would have been a real worrier years ago. And since all of this started and I found my community, I don't worry anymore.
Wow.
I seriously, I don't worry. I just think that somehow or other we are going to get through this. And hopefully we're going to win. But I just, somehow or other, I think because we're all constantly in touch and we know we're all on the same plane, it just makes it easier.
Well, you just, I say this thing time, which you've just made sense of, is that a lot of us feel, and none of you agree, that we are on the right path. We just don't know where we're going.
That's probably true. But because we're all working together and we know we will always be there for each other, you don't need to worry. No matter what they do, we'll get around it.
Chang bought a van and decked it out, showed us all, had all he needed, could park it anywhere, free as a bird. But when he flew, he found out fast that the great outdoors is a barbed wire fence.
So we're still in New South Wales on the border of Canberra. We're hanging out with Paul and his trial, and who do we have here?
Wendy Wilson.
Now, Wendy, you're one of the leaders, our organisers of the Stand in the Park we were at recently in
Bungendore. Bungendore.
And of other things too. You've been at the Governor General's and all that. What else have you been
Not so
up
much
to?
the Governor General's, but all the different events we've had at Parliament House over the last 5 years. And I was one of the two coordinators that set up My Place Queanbeyan Empowering.
Okay. So before you'd even heard of COVID, were you actively challenging the narrative, or what were you doing?
No, I had been just busy running our business. So we actually closed our business.
What was the business?
We were publishers.
Wow.
Yes. And coincidentally, our last issue of our publication was, I think it went out on the 7th of December. Well, it went to press 7th of December 2019. If we had produced the next issue, we were quarterly, we'd have gone belly up because everyone was in lockdown.
So was this a magazine or what? Okay.
Well, amongst other things.
Yeah. And what was the subject about?
Aviation.
Aviation. Okay. And now here you are, the leader of the Bungendore resistance.
I'm not the leader. I just seem to be the one that organises things.
Well, the thing is, you don't become a leader in the movement by being voted, because we're not. You become known as a leader because you do the work that needs to be done.
True.
And that's what you're doing.
True.
Yeah. So how have you changed as a person from before you'd heard of COVID to now? Because you've been on an odyssey. Because you've had to, and what I mean by that is we've lost family members that have kicked us out, jobs, society itself. We've seen our country literally turned upside down culturally, and we've had to navigate this. So how have you changed? Good or bad?
Hopefully good, but it's been very difficult because my husband's not on the journey.
Oh.
So...
So he thinks you're crazy?
Oh, he's definitely decided that you've all brainwashed me.
It's like palm olive, you're soaking in it. Get your head down. We're washing that brain.
So initially, when they said, you've got to go and get the jabs, and I just went, well, this is utter bullshit, and I started researching. And I just said to him, look, they're bioweapons, there's no way. And then a couple of weeks later, he says, so when are we going to have the jabs? I said, you're not listening to me. They're bioweapons, there's absolutely no way. And eventually he realised that was the case. So that side of it,
What was that moment like when he suddenly realised his wife, who he thought was crazy, was correct?
No, he still thinks I'm crazy because he doesn't believe all the other stuff.
So bioweapon okay, rest of the stuff bad.
Pretty much. So, yes. So I do I'm always researching stuff because, like everyone else, down all the rabbit holes, suddenly realising that almost everything that you thought you knew, you don't know, and that the world's totally upside down. Everything's reversed.
Can I tell you the perfect example? Because I know Joe Rogan said, before COVID, the flu was a flu. Now I don't know if man landed on the moon. Well, I went once, I was watching that, and then I came across this Instagram post which said Santa Claus was a creation of Coca-Cola to market Coca-Cola in the winter to Americans. I thought, are you kidding me? Is nothing real?
Exactly. I saw that.
How is your relationship been? Because we meet so many people with one's one way, one's another, and there's a lot of extra strain on the relationship, which we haven't suffered before. How have you been coping together?
It's a matter of you just don't discuss. So much of what you see on the news or whatever, if I slip up and let something out, then that ends up in an argument. So it's easier to just say nothing, which is why I find going to our meetings, whether it's my place or Stand in the Park and mixing with other people, that's the release.
Because there's the thing, though, surely that brings almost a touch of loneliness to the relationship, because our community is so passionate about these things. It's literally all we can talk about. Well, I struggle with small talk.
At the start, when you're going down all those rabbit holes, now we've run our business from our home, so before COVID I didn't have any friends. Even though we've lived in the area for 31 years, I really didn't know anyone. So when I went to the first marches in Canberra, you met a couple of those people the other day, and they said, come to Stand in the Park. I just suddenly felt so much pressure come off that I wasn't crazy, and there were all these other crazy people, and they were wonderful. And so we've built a beautiful community. And
these crazy people just happen to look very normal.
Exactly. So that's the release, is to be able to mix with people who think like you do, and they can see, and you're so stunned that the majority aren't using any critical thinking and they can't see what's right before their eyes.
That is the biggest question we have. Like, I was at your Stand in the Park. Here's these people, they all seem pretty grounded to me, but someone could ride by half naked with their hair crazy and they'd call us cookers.
Yes. True. But as you saw, we got 2 new people who came out of the woodwork because I put this thing up in the post office, which is wonderful.
It's amazing. So it's going forward now. I actually just want to go back a bit. We came to Canberra, and I've interviewed lots of people who came to Canberra, but you're so close to Canberra. What was it like when all of us turned up in Canberra? Did you come down to participate?
Oh, as I said, I was there for all of everything. For a week, I think it was a year and a half, we were on those lawns every Saturday. So some of the people you're with today were there at the same time. As I say, we've all built this community. So the first few times we did that, marched along Canberra Avenue, we copped a lot of abuse from the locals, but we were all excited to finally see that there were enough people awake. That big day where there was arguably 1 million people, that was probably the most wonderful day of my life. It was beautiful. There was so much love.
Yeah.
It just was stunning. And to think that so many people were injured that day, by our own government.
Well, let's talk about that, because I've interviewed loads of people who are seriously burned in bizarre burns, like half their face, spots on them, under their clothes. Were you injured?
No, but I was lucky because there were so many people there. You filled all that grassed area from one end to the other. But because it was a stinking hot day, we were in the trees.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And those of us in the trees were protected. But the gentleman you met yesterday, his wife was burnt. And she's no longer with us, not that it was related to that, but she was so frightened after that she wouldn't go back.
Wow. So she was that badly burned?
Yes. So, and I think...
And let's point out, she is Indian origin? No. Oh, she wasn't?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I'm sure a lot of people were like that they were scared, but we just said no. Yeah. This is our war and we just have to keep going.
How do you think we got here as a nation, that suddenly everything is so ridiculous now, and yet here we are holding on, but people believe such insane things now? Because
we have always held, the political class as being honest, I guess, until we realised they weren't, and that so much has changed without people not understanding the Constitution, the real Constitution, and not realising that all these changes they made, like starting when I was still at school, changing our currency, that had to go to a referendum. It didn't.
Good point.
Create, a whole new copy of the Constitution and remove all the things you don't want.
Yeah.
That had to go to a Constitution, but it didn't.
No.
And God knows how many other things that they've done. None of it's been done constitutionally.
Do you think that I talk about this era a lot, that was like the she'll be right era, and they used that sort of apathy we had about Parliament to get these things through?
I don't even know that you can call it apathy, because we weren't taught about our Constitution. I don't remember having any constitutional discussion at school.
No, I never have.
No, and I know that they removed a lot of things from school training. I'm probably older than most of them, but none of that was there. And of course, kids today, no one probably don't even know we have a constitution.
It'd be interesting to know, wouldn't it? But we even though those things happened then, it seemed to be simpler life then, gentler. Well, maybe it's just our memory. When now you wake up every morning now and you feel like you're caught in some high-octane Netflix series.
Yes, I don't know. My family moved around. My father was in the Air Force. We were both here and overseas. We never came across any problems. We never had any issues anywhere. Life seemed pretty good.
Yeah.
And in my own life, once I went out on my own, things. But as we now realise, we're all working so hard just to live, earn enough to buy a home, set up your life, and people aren't paying attention to the political side of things or what may be happening.
Yeah. It's too hard just trying to pay the bills. Certainly
these days it is.
Yeah. You see, talking about my place, because I think the first group to come out was like Reignite Democracy had a group, and then Hoodie's Heroes came along, Stand in the Park, of which I think Stand in the Park was the first, and that's still going. And then My Place come along. So how's My Place is doing well, or it's been doing well some places, not so others, but how's it doing here?
Well, we have a constant group. It's not massive, but we all support one another. We try and do what we can locally. So we we've been doing a lot promoting Bronwyn Holm and her Earth Foods product and trying to get people more aware, because she's coming back here shortly, of that. We don't have a huge number, like some of them, like Hervey Bay and Gold Coast and Dandenong, I think they've got massive, Newcastle too, they're huge. But they do have thousands and thousands of members across the nation.
Oh yeah, no, it's I think that's why the government keeps tabs on them. You know what I mean? Now, the other thing too is we're living in an era now where they're trying to paint us as, the new word now is sovereign citizens, Nazis and sovereign citizens. So they paint the back of us with Nazis and the front of us with sovereign citizens. How dangerous are you to Parliament in reality?
I don't think I'm dangerous at all. And I certainly find that term offensive because most of us are peaceful, loving people, and we have no wish to offend anybody.
Well, do you know, with Epic, and we're already finding this out now, they emptied the jails or the lockups because they thought they were going to arrest hundreds of us. We're finding out that below Old Parliament they had an army of riot police and apparently even some of those armoured cars. So they were expecting a battle, and yet all we did was turn up and sing and chant and hug.
And talk, exactly, and just talk to people or sit and have picnic lunch. Yep.
And I wonder if that's their bias of us, because we've challenged them and we've just questioned whether they cannot see us as anything other than dangerous. When in actual fact we're not dangerous, we just said no to the jab.
Well, that's right. We said no to the jab. We tried to warn our families and friends not to take it. And sadly, that just had us all cut out of their lives.
Have you lost anyone, or do you know of anyone in your community that's been injured?
A couple of friends. One died just recently, horrendous cancer all through his body. But there's a lot of people sick, and we did have a thing at Parliament House last year for the vaccine injured, and that was quite distressing to listen to the few people that turned up and how their lives have just been destroyed.
Yeah, and they are the forgotten people now. I mean, we're seen as scum, but they're below us. They're just forgotten. The government just doesn't want to know them, you know.
Refuse the help that they need. You know, I don't know how any of them can afford all the treatments they need and the amount of drugs that they're on to. You know, one bloke's had all the sheaths off all the nerves in his body.
All the what?
All his nerves, the sheath that covers the nerves,
yes.
that's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, we did an interview with a doctor from America or someone, and they talked about that's what's happening now. It removes the sheath around nerves.
You know, and he wasn't a particularly old man. He probably would have been in his early 40s, and you think, my God, how do you live with that pain, never ending?
Do you have a feeling, there's the thing now, people say a lot of people are waking up, but waking up is one thing, doing something is the next level, and that's where you're at.
Yeah.
Where do you think the hope is? Do you think the people are finally going to go, okay, no one's coming to save us, we have to stop this? Do you think Australians will finally take up the responsibility of their own liberty?
I don't think they're there. I mean, a lot of people say that they are, and people are waking up. From what I see, there are a lot of people who know what's going on, but they don't want to be out in the open. And the majority, they know something's not right. They're certainly upset about the financial situation and the never-ending price increases. But I don't know that they're far enough along to say, prepared to stand up and just say no. Mm. Because the day we all say no, it's over. Mm. And what's it going to take? Is it going to be the day they stop us driving our cars?
Digital ID?
Well, that's the one that everyone should say no to. Mm. But they're trying to fence us in every which way that most people will cave.
Yeah.
Like they did with the jabs.
Sorry, I'm with you. Yeah, there's a young woman, she wanted to be a philosopher, and she told me early on when I started speaking out, you've got a moral obligation not to sell hopelessness, no matter how tight its grip. But it's really effing hard sometimes. When you said these people don't want to put their head above the parapet, you have done that. How has that affected you in that little town you live in? It's a very cute little town. How are you seen now, and has it changed in the last few years?
Our town's growing so quickly now. Most people don't know enough about me, so it hasn't really affected me at all.
Okay. That's okay. It's the answer. It's really interesting. Some places people have lost friends and family and stuff. But you said you didn't have many friends. How about family? Did they stick with you?
Oh, no, the family. If you say one more word, we'll disown you. That's it. So I thought, okay, well, I don't really want to lose the family, so we didn't talk about it.
Why? Do you have any concept of why they're so frightened of talking about it? Do they fear that if they're heard talking about it, the government will know that and put them on a list, or what?
We want to travel, so most of my family do a lot of overseas travelling. They wanted to go out. They have a different lifestyle. We live at home. I cook every night. I do my own gardening, grow veggies, all of that. They don't. They eat out. They travel. They're very social. So they weren't prepared to cut that off.
Yeah, but it's that even talking about it, which is interesting to me. It's like you can't talk about it. But that's like communism. You can't, so why is talking about it so dangerous?
I don't know. I a couple of times, because I don't spend much time with them because we're scattered up and down the East Coast, really, they acknowledged that maybe there was something in some people and whatever. When they got to 3 and I could talk to my brother-in-law, I just said, please. They had the 4th. He said, I promise you that's the last one. So, but see, one of the family members had to go overseas. The family parent was dying in Europe. Had no choice.
Yeah. If you had to say anything to anyone who's listening, and there might be a few thousand listening to this, what advice would you offer to Australians moving forward?
Please do some research. Have a look at what's actually happening in our country, because we're losing our country very quickly. It's not the country any of us recognise anymore. And we need everyone to stand together so that we can reclaim it. Sign all the documents, all of Jackie Dundee's documents, for the Constitution and the courts, and that may help us. That's what we need.
I'm not staying here when the ship goes south, and the shit seems to be already here. I've a backpack with all my needs. Trouble is, when I dream, all I find is that the great outdoors is a barbed wire fence. I'm sure my grandfather left freedom here, unless my eyes were open when I was born. But this world has left me blind. Is that right, Mother? Am I blind? I'm sure I smelled freedom once in the backwood forests of your eyes. How you said, hide with me, or how else will we ever live free? There's an exodus heading out of town. Their faces are up but their eyes are down. There's a sun that seems to be shining upside down, and around and around, upside down, and around and around, upside down, and around and around, until we reach the outskirts of town, where we find time and time again that the great outdoors is a barbed wire